The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of the streaming platforms, public access channels, the Kitty Rose lifestyle, or the program.
Is a traditional African religion
Okay.
or spirituality system that comes from West Africa. It has its roots in Nigeria or Benin, and it really is one of the ancient forms of African spirituality.
Okay.
In which it's human beings being connected with nature and the different manifestations of God that come forth through that nature system.
Why that faith or that culture or that tradition, what makes that one different from another one?
So,
and then how did you find that one?
Okay, so I was born, baptized, and raised, sanctified by the blood.
All right.
Christian.
Yes, ma'am.
Christian, Protestant Christian.
Okay.
But because my parents were such, or are such, they're still alive, Garveyites, Black Panther, nationalists,
Okay.
Pan-Africanists. A lot of, my exposure to African, all little Black girls, we take African dance class. We take African dance class, we double dutch, we fry chicken, we braid hair.
Yes, ma'am.
So that whole experience, taking African dance classes, understanding the history that all civilizations started in Africa. So even my dad being a percussionist, my mom, loving music, having the vinyl records and doing like the Saturday morning culture sessions with, listening to Shaka Khan and Fela Kuti, Amir Baraka, things of that nature. It was always around me.
Yes.
So at one point I did a Shakespeare play.
Okay.
The Tempest, but it had an African adaptation.
Okay.
So we worked with a Jolly, who is a storyteller in the Western context, and he explained to us all of these elements of drumming and all of these different things that I already knew.
Okay.
Growing up. And at one point during the performance, practicing these songs, and he's telling us the cultural influence, I was mounted by spirit. And I go out, I sing my opening note, and then I just instantly black out.
Okay.
Have no recollection, no memory of what happened.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, like, this is my nerves. This is me just being nervous.
Okay.
This is before I really do my deep dive in my study. This is in college. And I come back, underneath the scrim, underneath the set, and I'm like, and all of my cast members are like, oh my God, Lee, oh my God. And I'm like, what, did I mess up? Did I go flat? Was I pitchy? What happened? They were like, you were amazing. We've never seen or heard you perform it like that. And I'm like, but I don't remember anything. I'm like, you guys are lying to me. I'm like, I have no recollection. They're like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you must be nervous. So I just chalked it up to that as being nervous. So once I studied more, and I took a trip to Cuba. I spent time in Ghana. I've started taking Orisha dance classes now.
Okay.
Now that I have the context and the cultural understanding, I'm like, your girl got mounted.
Okay.
Spirit came down and was just like, well, we gonna perform today, Misty.
Okay.
So in essence, my handle being Orisha's Playground, I am a vessel for spirit. I am a vessel for the ancestors. I am a vessel for divine spiritual communication. And oftentimes, within the Southern Black context, we have this thing of, this awareness, whether it be through hoodoo, whether it be through root work or anything like that, that, you know, we don't talk ill about the dead. We don't, you know, don't talk about money so early in the morning. Wipe your feet before you come in the house. All these little kind of practices and things, they're rooted in Ifa.
Okay.
Our body does not forget. It does not, you know, disregard all of these ancient practices just because of 500 years of a disruption. It's still our Africanisms are still here with us. They're just layered under a whole bunch of things.
Amen.
So that's really my connection to
Ashe.
it.
No,
Ashe.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's really my connection to it. It's just kind of like a hat tipping and a lineage to the fact that that we're always connected. I'm always in tune. I'm always able to just read and channel and pick up different things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you're using that as, I guess, your O2, is that why, I guess, the infiltration and using the matrix, you want almost people to be kind of like I'm gonna give you a little clue to what you're about to see when you follow me on social media.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely. My initial start in using Instagram was really to kind of document my learning. I wanted to do the very stereotypical, like, I'm a teacher, this is my Instagram, look at my nice little cute dress and everything like that, and my bulletin boards and my door and my lesson plans.
Okay.
Like, yay. And then I realized I'm a human being. I'm multi-layered and faceted.
Right.
I do attribute myself to being a very hardcore Black feminist with my intersections and all of just my raw meanness. And I was like, I'm not like that all the time. There's moments when I cuss. There's moments when, you know, even with my students, I'm like, did you listen to the new Dave East? Like, does it knock or not? Like, where, you know, sometimes I hand my phone to the kids and I'll be like, what's the cool stuff? I feel like I don't know what's going on. And I felt like that was real. I felt like that needed to be shared. I felt like that was the raw, unauthentic, kind of moments, and where, you know, unauthentic in the sense we're not supposed to do that. Right. That's not the teacher thing.
Because you don't have the nice, pure, innocent, follow me kind of social media presence.
No.
You're really raw, you're really out there, funny as hell, at least to me.
Right.
And maybe you're funny to me because we might be in the same playground.
Yes. Yes. Love it.
But how, before we get into what you talk about on social media, how does your spiritual awareness or your connection help you in the education system? Because even though you're in a private sector, it's very, it's still, you know, it's designed to teach but not teach.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when you come into consciousness, how do you fight against the agenda?
Right.
Or do you?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
I'm third generation teacher family.
Okay.
So a lot of times, my mothers and my yayas, they have to be like, cool it, girl. Cool it. Sister Soldier, Angela Davis, Harriet Tubman. Like, they have to snatch me back.
Okay.
Because of my spiritual awareness and my attunement to, you know, that ancestral work that has to be done. Oftentimes, a lot of the warrior spirits will be like, oh, no, we're not teaching this shit today. We're not doing this.
So how do you manipulate?
So one of the things I started doing, one school I was particularly at, I could sense the offness in the building. I could feel that sense of exploitation with the kids. Okay. That the kids were not being treated fairly. Lights would be flickering.
Okay.
They would have, now, New York City, I'm not foreign to cockroaches and, you know, animals and stuff like that. Right. Like all schools have their little rodents and critters, right? Okay. But when you literally walking from a train, school is across the street from the projects, see the roaches coming out of the projects, crossing the street like into the school building. something not going so. Something's wrong. Spiritually, I'm like,
it's not funny.
I know I'm a first year teacher, but that should not be going down like that. So my solution ultimately was, you know, instinctively, where's my sage, where's my Palo Santo, where's my incense, we gotta, but you can't do those things.
Why can't you though?
You can't burn.
Why?
Inside of buildings.
Before any administration come in.
Right, no, because we have fire alarms and smoke detectors.
Okay.
So, and silly ass naive me, I was like, Mommy, can I burn sage? She was like, do you like your job? Do you want to license?
That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I'm gonna burn my classroom.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I'm like, I could roll up at like 6 a.m. before anybody.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So me being very, you know, herb-based, spiritual-based,
Do you have
you know.
crystals in your classroom? Okay. Can you have a crystal?
I said, well, the crystals I do. The crystals
Okay.
and my anklets, I'm rooted and tooted.
Okay.
Even you know my Ethiopian Coptic,
okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
But in terms of clearing out the space, I had to develop sprays.
Okay.
And misting.
Okay.
So now and it even gave birth to like a whole apothecary side project that I'm working on now and trying to get LLC'd and incorporated and all of that.
Okay.
But what I started doing was I would take the crystals. And then I would get rose petals from the garden. My mom has rose petals, thank God. I would get the rose petals and I would begin to boil them in a copper teapot. And I would essentially make rose water.
Okay.
And even with Florida water as well too. And I would spray all around the room.
Okay.
And I'd be like, okay, we need to clear this energy. Play some Santo music before the day started.
Okay.
So that would be my open up the windows, clear everything out, say my intentions, set affirmations for the kids as well.
Now, do your students know you're doing this?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. But then it got to the point where in my teaching practice, you know, by the time I'm up in front of the board doing my whole today, boys and girls, hello, and I hear somebody say something very aggressive, you know, the kids that suck my dick,
right?
Or and I'd be like, y'all so aggressive.
Okay.
And they'd be like, oh, we're just playing, we're just this, we're just. I'm like, can we play another way?
Okay.
Can we not? So one particular student of mine, he
teach freshmen.
At this particular time, I was teaching 10th grade.
Okay.
I was teaching 10th graders.
Okay.
And he would be so, you know, little class clown, high school jock on a basketball team. He's a Libra, and I'm also a rising Libra. He eventually became like my school son.
Okay.
But it got to the point where I would just be like, you're so aggressive. I would take the rose water, charge with rose quartz. So this is very loving and for the heart chakra, and I would spray him in the throat. I would be like, you're so damn aggressive, child. You're so verbally aggressive. I said, what is your problem? And I'd be like, so some of them, they were more receptive to it. And, you know, after a while, they would literally see they would be like, oh wow, now he's quiet. Oh wow, now he's relaxed. And he would go to say something. He'd be like, you know what? He's like, you know what? Or in even, you know, some rare occasions, he would like kind of stutter a little bit because he would go to say something and I'd be like, so that became ultimately my classroom management tool.
Okay.
So, and this was even after I would say I built maybe a month or two of building that rapport with them.
Right.
So I'm not just coming out the gate like spray and chant. Right. You know, sana.
This is like by the time November comes along.
Exactly. Exactly. So we had that relationship, we had that bond, and then, you know, after a while, and even now with my students in Harlem, they're like, Ms. Whitney, I need some rose water. I gotta go take a test. Ms. Whitney, I need a blessing. I'm not ready for this benchmark.
No way.
My mom.
Wait, they said they need a blessing.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel so proud, and to be, because I struggled for a long time integrating all of these different elements and aspects of myself. When I was in college, I was all over the place, all over the place. You know, people were shocked when I finally decided to graduate, or if I had a 4.0 and when grades came out, because I was the party girl.
Really?
I was up until I was Senorita Lit.
Really?
Yes.
But graduated with a 4.0. All right.
Graduated with a 4.0, got my acceptance into grad school in the middle of rehearsals. I was the assistant director for Dreamgirls, our first big main stage production.
Okay.
I was a college TA as well, like doing things that our department never really did, but because I wanted to teach theater, because I was third generation teacher and understood the power of arts education, I was like, I'm a get my art and my twerk at the club, my Thirsty Thursdays, my Nat at Mondays, my Twisted Tuesdays, my wacky, like all of it.
Yes.
I was partying throughout, because that was even New York City nightlife, 2009 to 2013. You were corny if you was going out on the weekends. Okay, dive bars and all. Yes. I was the weird. You know, everybody wanted to be my friend, but everybody was like, I don't know if I really want to. Can I hang with Lily? Like, will I make it back alive? I was the in Hangover. I was the but did you die though? That was me. I'm like, but did you die? You ain't die, girl. We had fun. Don't front. We had fun. I know you had some fun. Yes. And even on a rare occasion, I remember once or twice, I would go, knowing I had a 6 a.m. class, and this was kind of like my learning, knowing I had like not a 6 a.m., an 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m. class.
That's like 6, but
right, exactly, right? I'd be like, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? And I knew my school's parking lot opened at 6 a.m. So I would keep the clothes in the trunk, go to the parking lot, lean back in my car, sleep, then come out and go into the PAC, the PAC building, and I'd be like, okay, shower, leggings, head wrap, and go into my 8 a.m. class.
So right now, I'm assuming that you don't have a significant other.
No, I'm single.
But you are dating.
Yes.
Okay, and you are open and clear about dating. But it's interesting because what I love about it is that you're dating, but I'm not dating for them more than I'm understanding how I am moving while I'm dating.
Yes.
Okay.
And I even try to have that dialogue on social media because a lot of times, being an educator, working, whether you're, pre-K through 12 or a professor or whatever, working in the education field, whatever the sector or role is, it's a very sexless.
Okay.
Profession.
I wasn't expecting that.
And I say that because ultimately, for men and
you
for
guys
women,
got the best work schedule though. What the fuck? Y'all should be fucking all the time.
No, we're not though. Because ultimately, and this is what people mostly don't understand, a lot of the work demands of education, you take that shit home with you. If I didn't come up third generation teacher, I would be like dead in work all the time.
What do you mean?
So you have to call parents.
Okay.
You have to grade papers. You have to plan your lessons. You have to give positive feedback as well as negative, constructive criticism. But basically, like, your child was acting a fucking fool in class today. Like, can he not? right?
And then the parent is a fool.
Right. Or sometimes the parent is the child is such a fucking fool that you think like, oh, you know, maybe this is the baby's having baby syndrome. And like with one of my kids, I'm like, this child is turning up all the time. Her mama got to be like a smooth 35-25 or something. Her mama is like church lady. Church lady. And I call the phone all ready to roll my neck. And I'll be like, I don't want to embarrass this woman telling about her badass child. I'm like, okay, let me regroup.
Okay.
And
so then how does that translate when you actually are dating someone? Because if we in the world don't really realize the strenuous, the anxiety or the workload that comes with being a teacher, because we're thinking, oh, you guys got the least amount of work schedule. You're off at 3-4 o'clock and you got summers off.
Child, please. But see, here's the thing. You think we're off at 3-4 o'clock, then comes academic hour. The babies need tutoring. Or then comes after school tutoring all together. Then there's Saturday school. Right?
Okay.
By 4 o'clock, you know, some of us in the charter sector, we may not even get off until 4:30.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know, the little good morning, good morning, boo. How you doing? I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's no good morning, boo.
Okay.
By the time I'm thinking to give you a good morning text, I'm like, he is by no means awake at all.
Okay.
Right? I don't want to be the stalker lady sending like, hey, boo, at 4 a.m. Like he gonna think those are booty call hours.
Okay. Right. Okay.
But I have to be up.
Okay.
In a certain like shower, brush my teeth, meal prep, all of these things like.
I never really thought about that.
Say you want to plan a date, like, oh, what are you doing after work? You send that text like maybe 12 o'clock, 1 p.m. or something. Like, I already had my lunch by 10 a.m. I teach 3 in a row, back to back.
Okay.
So by the time that good morning boo text come in, I'm teaching, I'm facilitating. I can't be like, right?
Okay.
No, can't do that.
So when's the last time you've been in a committed relationship?
2017.
Okay, that's not that long ago.
I wish it never happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. It was a very challenging time.
How long was the relationship?
It was like a year and a half.
Okay.
And let me just preface it out the gate. He was a Cancer man.
Okay.
He was a DJ.
Okay.
And he was also a Rasta.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Okay. And I love
I love
right. The natural girl,
right.
Like, I love
my Rastas. However, y'all
Empress men in balance, but y'all be finna do it.
Yeah. They are rules.
So it wasn't so much the Rasta element as the combination of the Rasta and the DJ.
Okay.
Together.
Okay. I'm sorry for laughing.
Some of them took my edges. And I had locks at the time too.
Okay.
So like it was real.
Okay.
It was real.
Okay. So 2017, we freed ourselves from that relationship. We've been single now. But like I said, the reflection is more about how you are now responding.
Yes.
So you can't do the 3 o'clock good morning boo, even though you're now up because you don't want to seem stalker-like.
Right, exactly.
So you're constantly having the conversations with yourself.
Right. Yep.
What made you start that? Like, why even care? Because a lot of sisters, we just be and it's like, love it or take it or leave it.
Right. That started because ultimately in that relationship, it was a toxic relationship. I realized and he realized that there was healing that needed to take place individually and together.
Okay.
So as destructive and as like just constantly draining as it was, we both were kind of in that place of like, we are beginning to see ourselves and we need to do some things about it.
Okay.
Like, he even recommended to me, because I have elements of trauma in my history and in my life. He was like, you might want to go back to therapy.
Wow, a Rastafarian. Wow.
Right? But even, and I took his advice. I went back into therapy. I got very specific trauma-based therapy, which looks a little bit different, as opposed to the traditional cognitive.
Because they make you face it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was so necessary and needed for me, because what manifested that relationship in the first place, I was lying to myself. As a teacher, I was like, well, I don't have any unresolved trauma, because look at this beautiful car I have. Look at these trips I'm going on. Look at all of this privilege I have because of being a third generation teacher and having my parents and all of this black affluence, all of this kind of Kanye syndrome, right? You know, all of these things. My parents are Garveyites. They're militants. They're baby boomers. We have...
So you have to be okay.
I'm fine, right? My parents take me on cruises. We do this and the like.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good. No, that was that smoke screen manifested that man who triggered me in every different area of my life, and I was just like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, not even this, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you, and then and this was it had to happen. This was a very karmic relationship. In that relationship, I ended up going to Ghana.
Okay.
And in my travels to Ghana, I met beautiful, wonderful men.
Okay.
Who not even on a romantic frequency. Just in a human, the humanity of it all. They affirmed me. They loved me as a sister queen, as a daughter, as just on so many different human intersections, pulling out my chair, explaining the ancient African culture to me. Things that I would say, they'd be like, well, how do you... So much learning on a human level. Things that this man has known me, or he knew me for a year and a half. He had never thought to do. And these people in Ghana, who eventually became my family, became brothers and sisters to me, fathers, even uncles, they knew me for like, a month. And they were loving me on such a deep healing level that I ultimately, when I was there in Ghana, I was like, I'm not coming back home to you. I was like, I'm not coming back home to you. Why do I have to fight to get you on the phone? Why do I have to, you know, hey, I miss you, I want to talk. Oh, I'm at a video shoot right now, hold on. Boy, I got a degree in theater. I know video shoots are hurry up and wait. Go on and catch my like... So
talking to me,
right? Exactly. Right. You know, like, oh, I'm on my way to an after party. Let me step out in 20 minutes and give it. You really want to leave all of this, right? To the whims of a Ghanaian man?
Right.
Okay, because I'm Ghanaian. Rastaman.
Yes, honey.
Ghanaian, they have y'all beat.
Ooh.
They have y'all beat.
Ooh.
Okay? Ghanaian men are known. Ooh. And then I read up on it too. They said you can, if you don't say you're not single. Don't say you single in Ghana. Okay?
We got it.
All right? Right. Even the only thing that really makes them slow down, not even stop, because they're not stop, makes them slow down, is if you are married with children.
Okay.
Then they're like,
oh, married with children.
Married with children. Because if you're married and you don't have no kids, they like,
oh, you still got time.
It's not. Grass on the infield, play ball. No, it's so true. And even this one of the Rasta men, because I wanted to go digging, looking through some vinyl. Okay. He was like, so where are your kids? And I was like, oh, so we started early. And I was like, I was focusing on my career first. I don't have any children. And he was like, oh, so are your parents dead? I was like, please don't talk about my mama like that. No. And he was like, I was like, no, they're not dead. He's like, so why don't you just have kids and let your parents take care of them? And then by the time you finish your career, you know, like you have your kids. And and so the culture, the culture of courtship and family and things that was